innovative content, global audience.
Good morning, viewers. A very warm morning to you from the world's capital city, London. My name is Princess KESSY, and this is Wake Up Nigeria. Of course, there's so much coming in from Nigeria this morning. The headlines are just, I don't know what to say. But before then, we say Happy Teachers' Day to all our wonderful teachers out there for making us all this. And of course, there's a teacher that will make the doctor, the banker, the lawyer, or professor, and everything. So we can't help but celebrate them. So well done. And I have with me this morning on the review section Uche and Ebo. Of course, is a professional teacher as well. Comrade Obara Henry Uche. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, do you have any other device on there, like a phone? Turn it off. Apart from the one you're using. Do you have any other phone on? Apart from the one you're using?
No, I don't have any phone on.
Okay, because we can get.
There's no that phone on.
There's so much echo.
There's no that phone on.
Okay. So, Uche, we have quite a lot this morning. So much coming from and today is Teachers' Day. How do you feel about that? Let's start from there. Can you hear me, Uche?
I can hear you now.
Okay, now, do you have any other phone apart from the phone you're using?
The phone is on silent mode.
The other one?
Yes.
Okay, do you have something like earpiece?
Okay, no, but I don't usually use earpiece as a result of some allergies in the past.
Because we can actually.
But I can hear you. I can hear you. Proceed.
And it's quite disturbing.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Uche?
I can hear you.
All right. We have so much this morning, and there's that vibration from your phone. Can we turn that? Can you just mute it? Maybe after the show, we can now go back to the vibration. You have so many messages coming into your phone, and it's distracting. So maybe you should just find a way to put your phone on total silence when you're using. Then we can now continue.
Okay.
Yes, viewers, we have quite a lot this morning. I'm quite happy. I'm thrilled as well that it's Teachers' Day, and we cannot help but celebrate them. And like I said yesterday, we have so much on the headlines this morning. Talking about tragedies at the Senate, and of course, we have issues of insecurities. Now, there is no day we sit here, we don't hear one issue or another talking about insecurity here and there all over the country. Now, do you think? I don't know. People are in school. They're in school for learning, of course, for going to school as student, and the next thing you hear bandit breaking in to take them away, and now they'll be demanding so much money. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? And we're still talking about borrowing in this economy. These are some of the issues we'll be looking at today. And of course, we're still there, which are what? Palliative issue and labor issues. All these are the stories are making the headlines this morning, of course, which we're going to be discussing. I'm going to kickstart this morning with the Guardian newspaper, rather the Sun newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Sun this morning. I'm just waiting to bring back our guest. I'll see will be contributing as well to these headlines this morning. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
All right. So we're going to keep on this morning with the Sun newspaper. These are some of the major headlines. Can you move away so we can see your face? Go move toward your left hand side so we can see your face. Thank you. These are some of the stories coming from the Sun, Daily Sun this morning. The major headline here says tragedy at Senate. Kaduna ministerial nominee slums while being grilled by senators. Journalist collapses house, dies. Three nominees confirmed. Now, all these stories are on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says trouble looms in health sector. 31,000 primary health worker centers collapse. That story is on page 8 as well of the Daily Sun newspaper. We have a story here that says epidemic looms in Delta community as bodies litter scene of fuel tanker fire. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that CUN takes 23 new judges on impartiality. Says much expected from them. And that story is on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Government storm federal school Castina abduct 5 female students. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And as well, we'll have a story here that says FG gives 2 weeks timeline for processing passports. And that story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We have a story here that says Chicago University presidency says Tinubu certificate not fake amid mixed reaction. That story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says 72% of foreign trained doctors fail assessment. And now this is coming from NBCN, and that story is on page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says NECO, anxiety as students, parents await SSCE results. And that story is on page 5 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says courts remands Naira Marley over Mohbad's deaths. And that story is on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. Now, Uche, what's your there's a major story here. We saw that yesterday at the Senate, one of the nominees actually slumps while being agreed by the Senate for his confirmation. Do you think, and of course, is an elderly man, it could be pressure, it could be health issues, it could be for whatever reasons, I can't say right now, but what's your take? Do you think with what we've seen so far, because following the reactions, Nigerians are saying he's not even fit to take that post because we need stronger people to be our ministers and of course our leaders. What's your take on that?
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Bararebe was the first nominee among the 3 nominated ministers that the Senate screened yesterday. And it's unfortunate that along the line he fell. It's also embarrassing that a nominee that was screening yesterday fell. Nigerians see that as embarrassing. I'm of the opinion that before a nominee being screened, they need to check the health condition of that nominee.
Okay.
Because I believe that there should be a way of checking all the nominated persons for screening. It should be wise for us to always be conscious of our health problem. The Senate do not do well. Immediately, they would have checked the health system of every nominee before even screening them. Nigerians are not happy, and this thing went viral. The world heard it. And alongside, our health system is not helping matters.
Now, Uche, before we
because
come,
those people are also scared of the
Uche,
health
before we
system.
continue,
Most
right?
of them go to London and receive medication.
Uche, can you move away from the phone a little bit so we can see your face? Because your face is quite dark from this end. We can hardly see who is talking.
Can you see
I
me
think
now?
that a little bit, but there is no light at all on your face.
Can you see me now?
Yes, it's better, much better than before, even though the place is dark.
All right. So Mr. Bararebe was the first person to be screened yesterday by the Senate. I think it's disheartening that he fell along the line. It is not encouraging that the world saw what happened. A person that was passing through screening fell, maybe as a result of, I don't know, the sickness that he has. But before a person comes out to the public and they began to address the public, the person should also check his or her health system, because it's embarrassing, very embarrassing, I may say.
Well, we do really hope that these people will do what you have just said. I think that's a good thing to do moving forward. Before coming, they should confirm that these people are healthy enough to even hold a post.
Yes.
Now,
Before, as an employee of government, like myself, you need to go for, you need to have medical fitness in a certified government health sector, hospital, certified government hospital. Check yourself. You must surely be fit before you do your documentation and before your screening. Now, firstly, they need to check and be certified that their health system is okay before coming out to the public, because the tension, the anxiety will also cause somebody to fall.
that is true.
So I'm seeing it that Nigerian people, they're not doing enough. They have to ensure that a person is healthy, physical, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, before the person comes out for any screening, because the person is going to serve the government, going to serve the public. Serving the public is not an easy assignment. A minister is not an easy assignment. So for you to come out for any screening, they need to certify that your health status is okay before you coming out for any screening. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. And there's a story here that says trouble looms in health sector. 31,000 primary health care centers collapse. Uche, what do you make of this?
Our primary health sector, if I may say, the doctors, they are leaving the country because of poor remuneration. They are being owed years of hazard allowances. So for them to get a better paid place, they need to leave the country. And we have, if I'm not mistaken, if you go to our primary health sector hospitals, you will only see one, or you may not even see any doctor. Most of them are leaving the country because of poor remuneration. If the government will help to increase the salary being paid by workers, not only doctors, other government workers, so that our mind will not be thinking of going outside to make it or get that greener pasture. Let government put their heads together, think a way to move this country forward, mostly our health sector. The remuneration they normally give health people is nothing to write home about. I believe with that, our people in studying medicine and surgery, studying nursing, or any other medical course will not be thinking of going outside for better life. Government need to look inwards to ensure that they have better remuneration. Their hazard allowance should be paid on when due. Thank you.
Well, what's said? And let's talk about this issue of Uche, we have coming from your end. I want to believe that there is a particular device that is on around you, apart from the phone you're using.
Pardon?
I said, is the same there is another phone that is on around you, apart from the one that you're using, because we have so much echo.
Okay, just one of my phones is a smaller phone. I just place it on silent mode. Okay, let me keep it in a distance. All right, I've done that. Thank you.
Okay, but I don't even think that is the issue. Maybe off it, let's see.
All right.
But it's not even connected to the StreamYard, right?
Yes, it's not connected to this phone.
So it's not supposed to have the issues.
Well, as you said, let me just off it. I just off it now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Is it echoing at the background?
I don't think so. It is. Maybe it's from this your phone you're using. And maybe your room also is the place is quite spacious, and so that's why we're having echo. Okay, so we'll continue regardless. Now, let's quickly to the next newspaper. Before we even go, there is a story here as well that says these issues of kidnapping, insecurity. We saw the other day that bandits broke into the university also in Katsina to kidnap students. And now again, we're hearing the news of federal government storm Federal University Katsina, abduct 5 female students. What do you think we'll do? We've been talking about insecurity as if though it's become a joke to everybody.
Thank you for that. Insecurity has been the problem of this country since the inception of the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, as well as Muhammadu Buhari. It continued to linger in this present administration. It has been a problem of this country. Going to school, abducting students have been a problem. We don't have enough security. If you look at the streets, even we are living, sometimes the security men bribe to allow people to enter in a place where people are living. Security should be everybody's affair. There should be a community security, intelligence security. where a neighbor should know the next person living closer to him or her, so that if anything that is happening, you now blow alert to any nearby person. The next person can as well contact the nearby security agency. Security have been a problem. I know of a school. They adopted 20 persons. At that point in time, they were about to adopt them. Some people called security people like policemen to also intervene. You know what the policemen did? They were asking them how many, what kind of gun were they using? You know, and the time they contacted them is early enough for them to track down those persons committing the heinous crime. But police were like asking unnecessary or flimsy questions that would not help out. See, most of us that are staying here, we are security conscious. Our neighbors, we have the phone numbers of our neighbors. Any small thing, any faces we do not know, we began to ask questions. Security should be a watch dog of every man's affair living in Nigeria. For now, the security system in Nigeria is nothing to write home about. But I'm just adding that if you see a strange person passing to your place, a person you don't know, please ensure you contact the nearest police agent near to you. Security should be everybody's affair, and I'm discouraging totally this adopting student that's supposed to be in their school reading, and the country is supposed to provide security for their lives, but they are seeing the reverse. It's not encouraging.
It is quite sad to know that students who have left their parents' home to for learning is now becoming another thing. Should the student now stay at home? Should we say children should no longer go to schools? They should stay at home. Where is safe? Even in their home, are they safe? These are some of the questions, and it's quite disheartening. Now, Uche, what I want you to do is that I need you to face the light. Your face is quite very dark. So try to always move away from take your face the way you're seated now. And so we can see you with the place, but I think there is not much light. And so we're struggling to see the person is talking. Yes. Or maybe I can't say you should go and sit in your car outside, or it's like better for us so we can get to see the intelligence you're speaking, because it's really dark in here. Or maybe you can open your windows if there's room for that. Okay, so there's a story here as well. I really want you to comment on this. That 72% of foreign trained doctors fail assessments. This is coming from MDCN.
Can you take it again?
The headline says 72% of foreign trained doctors failed assessments. So let's say doctors who were trained outside the country, people who went to school outside Nigeria, now came back and they failed assessment. What do you think is wrong?
Oh, it's not wrong for any trained doctor outside Nigeria to write a test, or to for the people that are employing them to give them examination or interview.
Can you move
Now,
back so we can see your face?
for them failing the interview, or the tests or the examination, it's not encouraging, because they are coming to treat human being. So if you fail any examination as a medical practitioner, it means that what you learned did not sink into your brain, and you can't go to the hospital, handle any patient. Maybe you may be giving the person wrong drug. Headache is the problem of the person. You're giving the person malaria drug. So any medical practitioner that failed any examination should go back to study back to the university, or give the person an opportunity of going back to read. Come when you are ready for the examination. Failing examination is not a good thing. A person handling human beings should also always know all the parts of the body, know what is happening to any patient, because all this thing has caused so many patients to die as a result of negligence, as a result of not knowing what is happening, the particular sickness that is happening to the person. You discover that some because of negligence and out of not knowing what the sickness that is happening to the person will die. So many persons have died as a result of that. So if a doctor or a health worker failed examination, the person has to go back to the university and study more. The person should not be employed. Thank you.
I love that, because you can't come and joke with human lives. That would be too expensive a thing to do. Now we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Guardian. Now these are some of the stories coming from the Guardian. The main headline here says crisis looms in universities over mass exodus of lecturers. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says beware of landmines. CGN Arewola wants new federal high court judges. Government adopts 5 female undergraduates in Katsina. That story is on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says economy bites harder as subscription to telecom services drop. And that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says Tinubu and the political option for Nnamdi Kanu. That story is on page 12 of the Guardian newspaper. We also saw a story here that says 62-year-old Benin socialite backs 12 years in jail for human trafficking. That story is on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper. These are some of the stories we have coming from the Guardian newspaper issue. What do you make of the story here? Now we have new judges. They were sworn in just yesterday. What do you think the judiciary is not doing right, and what do you expect of these new judges?
All right, can you take it again?
We have new judges that were sworn in yesterday at the Supreme Court.
Yes.
So what are your expectations of these new judges in the face of so many court cases, so many tribunal issues here and there?
Yes, I believe that the Chief Judge of Nigeria, in the person of Justice Kayode Ariwola, appointed and sworn in some judges yesterday at the Supreme Court, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that a judge should be a man of integrity, a man that will dispense laws without fear or favor. But we have so many cases in Nigeria, like the last case of the one that's happened at appeal courts between His Excellency P2B and His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, including the current president Tinubu. We saw what transpired and the way the judges concluded the whole matter. But I believe that judges should be fair enough, without fear or favor, dispense laws and give correct judge without fear or favor. Judges should be men of integrity, men that has understanding, and men that knows and understand the problem of the common man in dispensing justice and laws. Thank you.
And then there's a story here as well. They say Tinubu and the political options for Nnamdi Kanu. That is a very sensitive matter. We all know. But if you were to be the president, or what would you advise the president to do as regarding the Nnamdi Kanu case?
All right. Tinubu should have security, intelligence security. It should have community security that should ensure the optimal of securing communities of everybody living in a community, in a state, or in a village should also know each other. They should know people living in each house. Anything that happen, we have the emir, we have the Igwe, we have the Alhaji, and other people ruling communities, kindred, and whatnot. They should also know anybody that is living in each house. This person is living in this house. So anything that happened, they will be able to trace what happened. I believe that Tinubu should also call all the security chiefs to have intelligent security, knowing your neighbors, people living around you, so that anything that happens, they'll be able to trace it easily. Maybe an invader, they'll be able to trace it. They normally have normal vigilante. I believe sometimes vigilante can be among the people that also turn around to steal or to cause this insecurity. Let us be conscious of people living around us. Know anybody that's living around you, so that anything that happens, at least we'll be able to trace how it happened. Thank you.
And also, there's this. Let's move quickly to Punch and see some of the headlines coming from the Punch. The major headline here from Punch is economic crisis. States borrow 46 billion from banks to pay salaries. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And also, the says Access, Fidelity, Zenith lend states 46 billion in 6 months as governors battle for IGR. Fiscal Responsibility Commission issues guidelines to ban on lending to states MDAs. That story as well is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. There's another story here that says judgments based on constitution, not public opinions. Now, this is the CGN message to the new judges, and that story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. We have a story here that says teacher's car crushes pupils to death in Lagos school, and that story is on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. There's a story here as well that says ministerial nominates friends. Journalist dies in National Assembly shuttle, and that story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that says Chicago University vindicated Tinubu presidency insists Atiku files documents today, and that story is on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Federal government to convert 10 million PMS vehicles to CNG, and that story is on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says Naira among Africa's worst currencies falls by 40%. World Bank. And that story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. These are all the stories coming from the Punch. Now, I want you to comment on the major headline issue. As you can see here, economic crisis. States borrow 46 billion from banks to pay salary. Why are we in that place where the state is now borrowing the states that are supposed to have resources that are supposed to be generating their own money? So does it mean that if the federal government is not able to give to states, the states will keep borrowing to pay salary?
All right, thank you for that. Where we are having economic crisis, states are borrowing 46 from bank to pay salaries. It's unfortunate. I remember vividly the former governor of former governor of Anambra State, in the person of P2B. When he was the governor, he cut down security, unnecessary spending. He cut it down. He reduced his convoy, if I'm not mistaken, about 6. But if you look at our current leaders, people that are governors, they can use that. They use more than 20 convoys. How can a state borrowing money from banks on this present economic crisis? A state supposed to be revenue generating. All ministries has something they generate. If a government or a governor do not do his work properly, if you look at the current president, are you not seeing in the country of 36 states, including FCT, and he has 48 ministers, including heads, at this economic crisis? They don't even think of the poor masses. In developed countries like US, you see such thing happening where you have 36 states, including FCT, you're having 48 ministers. It is unfortunate. All ministries supposed to be a ministry for bringing revenue to the states. A state should also try to revamp their companies, their industry. That will also help to generate revenue to the states. I'm thinking that the governors we have in the state, they don't have that wherewithal to know how to generate money. How can you borrow 46 billion to pay salaries? Who is fooling who in this country?
And who is supposed to now pay back this money? Because that means you will keep borrowing. If you don't have a source of income, you will keep borrowing. Meanwhile,
we will continue to borrow. If a state is not generating revenue, they will continue to borrow. Let them revamp the industries. Let them bring tourists that will help them to revamp the industries. It's unfortunate that the people leading us, they don't have the wisdom or the understanding to know how to revamp our industries, our economy. See our currency. We are having 1,000 plus
Yes,
against
I was
a
okay.
dollar.
I was going to ask you that because the news here says from Punch saying Naira among Africa's worst currencies failed by 40%. Now this is coming from the World Bank.
You are seeing our currency. $1 is 1,000 something naira. Because of we continue to borrow. A country that continue to borrow will not grow. We grow. We borrow from an international bank. We borrow from African bank. We borrow from our local banks. What is happening? I began to ask, what is happening? Is it that people we put into leadership to man the states? You don't know what to do. You don't know how to generate revenue, or they are there for their selfish interests. That is what I'm seeing. They are there for their selfish interests. And even this 46 billion naira will not even go fully for the payment of salaries. They would divert some to their own personal interests. This is not encouraging. Most of us, when we hear this, we would like to leave this country, because this country is not helping matters. Even talents, we have talent. We have people that are building electronic cars that can also help to generate revenue to states. Why not them encourage all those local individuals building electronic cars? Why not support them? Why not us revamp our refineries, our local refineries? Why not revamp them so that we'll be refining our crude oil here, than us refining our crude oil, subsidizing it? Even as I'm talking to you, this subsidy that they said, I'm not thinking they have already removed this subsidy, because if you look at a country that have removed fuel subsidy, they will have used that money, channel it to our refinery, revamp them so that we will have a way of getting revenue. Because I know that PMS is a way of this country getting revenue. So if they remove fuel subsidy, they now channel the 1 trillion naira they normally give to an individual for their selfish interest. Let me use that word, selfish interest. They channel it to revamp our refinery. Nothing is working in this country, if I may say. This country, I don't know whether we are heading to do.
It's quite sad that we've gotten to a place where they are no longer borrowing from African bank or World Bank. Now the local banks, the ones within 46 billion naira just to pay salaries. Meanwhile, the state have natural resources. Each state in Nigeria can even feed the nation if we concentrate, or if we focus on what we have in each state. And it's now so shameful that they are getting to a place where, and meanwhile, there are states, if I tell you how much each governor, for instance, my state governor is taking home a security vote on monthly basis. And at the end of the day, they have so many aids. They have to say convert the flamboyant lifestyle in the essence of the states. And now they can't pay the poor workers the stipends they are paying them, and they still have to go and borrow. It's quite.
If I may even add, if I may add, the former minimum wage, 18,000 naira minimum wage, some governors have not paid it. They have not implemented it. The minimum wage of 18,000 naira. Talk of the 30,000 naira minimum wage, and they are borrowing. You know, when you borrow, you service the interest. When you finish servicing the interest, that is when you now think of paying the main money you borrowed. That is why our currency continue to depreciate, because this country, we're not manufacturing anything, we're not producing anything. If say we have companies or industry that produces, we now begin to export to other countries, our currency cannot depreciate this way. Governors borrow, they will target them because of their own flamboyant life, as you just said. They want to live that luxury life, which if you look at other advanced country, a country like US, a country that is at a particular level, their corruption is low. They have industries, companies that produce what they use. Name it phone, name it laptop, name it their rice they are using, everything they are using or eating, they produce it. But this country called Nigeria, we import products that other countries manufacture and be using. There's no made in Nigerian products. That makes our currency continue to depreciate. I don't know. God will help us.
It's really sad. God has given us the resources, given us the people, given us everything, and then we continue disturbing girls because our leaders are corrupt, and of course they have refused to do the right thing. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Vanguard newspaper. These are some of the stories we have coming from Vanguard. We have here the main headline. States split over FG 35,000 wage award to federal workers. And that story is on page 5. Right, it says we will keep improved FG's template. Enugu, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, Delta, Oyo, Adamawa, others to negotiate with workers. FG can't dictate to us what to pay. Now, this is coming from Niger government. FG cannot dictate to you what to pay, and then you just want to pay what you like. That is what our government are good at doing. They will just come and tell you, I am not paying. So for that reason, you can't do anything. Like you said, a lot of them are still owing salaries. And then there is another news here that says, CGN to judges, we must rise above temptations, trials, and that is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Mohbad, court remands Naira Marley, Sam Larry, 2 others, and that story is on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says court martial declares Major General guilty of $1.7 billion dollar theft, and that story is on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says federal government issues 2-week timeline for passport processing, declares over 204,000 backlog, clears over 204 backlog. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Also, there's a story here that says presidency, Atiku disagree over certificates Tinubu submitted to INEC, and that story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Atiku disagree over certificates Tinubu submitted to INEC. And there's a story here that says 22 drowned as boats capsized in Niger, 6 bodies recovered, and that story is on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's a story here as well that says Senate screens confirms 3 additional ministers for Tinubu as Lawrence loans, and that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. These are the stories we have coming from the Vanguard this morning. Uche, Now, what's your take? You were just saying something about the states, and now we're seeing that states, after borrowing 46 billion from Zenith and other banks within local banks to pay salary, now we are now seeing that states split over FG, federal government 35,000 wage award to federal workers. Recall that on the independence speech, the president did promise that he's going to top salary with 35,000 for this period, let's say 6 months, and just to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. And we're seeing that the states are already having issues as regard to that statement. We can see that we will key into FG template. This is coming from Enugu, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, Kebbi, Delta, Oyo, Adamawa. Others to negotiate with workers. FG cannot dictate to us what to pay, and this is coming from Niger government. That is Bago. Bago is actually the new governor. Now, what's your take on this? Is this something that we should be negotiating with workers? These people deserve these stipends. I call it stipends because it's not even up to the amount they buy fuel to go to work with, or to even talk about medicals or feeding. So why are they having issues with as little as 35,000 naira?
Governors will split because of what President said on this wage award. I'm part of the government employee, so I know governors will not like this wage award to cushion the effect of removal of subsidy. They will not like it because they're not producing anything that will give them revenue. Even the money they are borrowing, they will not even use it judiciously to pay salaries. Most states are owing months. 35,000 naira wage award, is it big? Is it big comparing the current economic crisis? I wonder why a governor, states will split over because of what our president said. You know, they don't mean well for Nigerian workers. They don't mean well, governors. They don't mean well. Only for 6 months, so that the new minimum wage, they will now agree on how much they will be paying for the new minimum wage, because NLC and TUC, recall vividly, before 1st of October, they met with the leadership of the Minister for Labor in the person of His Excellency Simon Bako Lalong. And they discussed the ways to cushion the effects of Nigerian workers. Now, a governor splitting or state splitting as a result of what His Excellency, our president, pronounced is not encouraging. 35,000 naira for 6 months only. For 6 months to cushion the effect. That is what states are clamoring. That is what will make them to split. No. You see that our leaders, the governors in the states, they did not mean well for us. They did not mean well for government workers. You know how much is fuel for you to drive to your working place? You know how much fuel you will buy. Now, how much is the salary? If you even augment with this, with the 35,000 naira, the salary will not even go anywhere. So why are they splitting because of 35,000 naira wage award only for 6 months before agreement will reach on what to pay, or how much that will reach, or agreement that will reach to pay workers regarding minimum wage? It's unfortunate. I don't know. It's unfortunate.
It's quite unfortunate, Uche. Our leaders, they keep breaking the hearts of Nigerians on a daily basis. Nobody will wake up to a news like this that states are splitting over decision of federal government to chop off 35,000 naira. We all know that your full tank alone in Nigeria is equivalent to that money. I don't know for others, but my car is equivalent to 30,000 naira if I want to buy a full tank, which will not be not even I will use up to 2 weeks. So what is the issue? Meanwhile, the governors, their children, they are living abroad, going to school there, having their medical. They don't care about the citizens. That is just the way I see it. Now, Uche, before we move ahead, let's talk about presidency. Atiku disagree over certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC. And don't forget also that the Chicago University has released, as requested by Atiku, did release to him the documents, the certificate of Tinubu from that school, the Chicago University. Now he is to submit this to the court today. Now, what's your take on this back and forth? Do you think we are going? Because we saw earlier from the Punch newspaper a story there that says Chicago University vindicates Tinubu, presidency is seized. But Atiku is now saying that he disagreed over the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC. These are some of the issues. Now, what's your take on this certificate saga?
Thank you very much. Truly, His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, passed through Chicago University. He truly passed because the certificate had been released. Truly, the registrar of the university in Chicago testified that he passed through. Even he excellently he did well in the university there. So let's the sleeping dog lie. I'm telling His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to allow this man to continue to dispense democracy. I believe he has good things or things to offer for the nation. As this certificate issue have been clarified that he passed through the university and he has certificate. Please, this issue.
Yes, I think I agree with Uche on this. Sometimes we go to courts and court and court. It's your right to go to court, but we've seen that the issue has been clarified from the US. So let's see what the courts will do with all this submission that they will submit today. We move quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Nigerian Tribune. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. We have a major headline here that says, how Nigeria under African countries can avert a lost decade. Now, this is coming from World Bank, and the writer here says projects 2.9% growth for Nigerian's economy, 12 million young African entering labor markets each year. And that story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We also saw a story here that says public opinion cannot override constitutional provisions. Now, this is coming from the CGN, and that is directed to our new judges, the new appointed judges. And that story, of course, it's on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says reps probe 22 billion naira Lagos Sango Abeokuta Road construction contracts. Reps probe 22 billion Lagos Sango Abeokuta Road construction contract, and that story is on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says bandits adopt 5 federal university students in Katsina, and that story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We also, there's a story here that says 2 killed, many injured. Resident flee in renewed iPhone Lobo communal clash. That story is on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Visa ban. UAE officials arrive to continue meeting with Nigerians today, and that story is on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. There's a story here that says scares as Kaduna ministerial nominee slumps during screening. Senate confirms him to others. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. There's a story here that says applicants will not get passports in 2 weeks. And the minister, this is coming from the minister on page 17 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. There's a story here that says NRC suspend workers who collected cash from passengers on board Lagos Ibadan train. And that story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. There's a story here as well that says Mohbad court orders remand of Naira Marley Sam Larry on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Yes, I love the fact that the coming from immigration service, we've seen that they've cleared the backlog of 204 actually of cases there. I think that's what many the new ministers should do, the new whatever CGs they should do. Get to work, because somebody will not do a passport and you have to wait for 6 weeks, for 2 months to get your passport. What if you have an emergency health issues, for instance? This is why if there's a way they can even call them, fine, 1 week days, you should get your passport. And there's a story here as well that says that UAE officials arrive Nigerians to continue a meeting with our leaders over the visa ban. That would be a good thing. They should actually lift that ban. It would be a relieving news. We have quite a lot coming from here, and of course, we've seen in other stories before, and that is all we'll be able to take today from Wake Up Nigeria, the newspaper reviews. Thank you so much for being on the show. But we do hope sincerely, we do hope that our government will be up and doing, because I don't. This major headline from the Punch is so worrisome. Economic crisis. States borrow 46 billion from banks to pay salaries. Talking about Access, Fidelity, Zenith. I don't understand. I just really do hope, like our guests say, that the government will be up and doing. I don't know why the states are not producing. I don't know why the states are stagnant. I don't know why the states cannot do anything on their own. The states just sit their mom and waiting for federal government to do what? To keep giving them monies, to keep paying on their behalf. Meanwhile, you have natural resources from each state. There is no state in Nigeria that does not have something they can produce that can generate income for the state, natural resources. So why are we borrowing from? Now we've left World Bank, African Bank. Now we're coming gradually down to the banks around you to borrow 46 whopping billion to pay salary. So what happens if you cannot borrow? This is so shameful and it's so disgraceful of our governors. Meanwhile, they go home with so much money. They go home with the security vote billions of naira. So why are they borrowing to pay salaries? These people are workers and they deserve their monies. At the end of the day, look within. In the world, in the state, you have something you must do as a state to generate income. There are a lot you can do in the state. So stop borrowing monies already. Then this governor will leave and the next governor will come and start paying that or keep borrowing. So how can we move forward, Nigeria? We cannot if we keep borrowing. It's really sad. This particular news is so disheartening. Anyway, I have to end up the show regardless. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Before we go, don't forget to follow us on our social media handles. We're talking about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, now X, and of course, YouTube. Subscribe, hit on the notification bell, invite somebody to the page. Leave us with your comments. We'd love to hear from you while you're out there. Please be nice to another person. And do remember that peace is priceless. So let's give peace a chance. And please also, today, just think outside the box. Do something outside government, outside anything. Just create something for yourself. And that would be a better thing to start with today. I'll see you again on the show tomorrow. Hopefully, my name is Princess KESSY. Do have a very beautiful morning.
TV. Innovative content, global audience.